Yeah, it is a little grainy with my camera, but then you can't hear it without phones.
Oh, is that right?
Because
Yeah, unless you get a good sound system.
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you have an agenda?
that's my only drawback.
Do you have an agenda?
Grainy and sound
Do you have
system.
one? You good? Okay. You guys have an agenda?
Not yet.
I was always worried about that. Been there that long.
It's a little warm.
Thank you. 71. That's nothing.
Get you.
Wait till it gets to 77. Hey, Butch. How are you?
Tolerable. Cheryl Ann would argue the point, but I.
Uh-oh. Now what's going on?
Put a copper on when you need one.
Hey, Tim, how you doing?
Bear, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Hello, Mr.
How
Bell.
you doing?
Good.
Haven't seen you in a while.
It's been a
Still
while.
alive?
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing? Looking for a promotion? So you came out here? Is that how you doing, neighbor? Greetings.
Good, good.
I finally got that hang of this.
Good, good.
Sam, how you doing? Good, bud. You're in the high chair there. You want to pull one of those off?
Yeah, there's two of them there.
You're already tall.
That's almost like a throne, the way I envisioned that. You mean I can't give it away?
5:30, we're ready to start the committee meeting. Mr. Geller?
You're shorter too.
We'll go ahead and do the delinquents. If anyone wants to take a look at the delinquents, they're right here. You can pass them along, whatever. That will be forwarded to the auditor of Lincoln County for collection to be put on property taxes. First thing we're going to talk about is how sewer sales and everything, how we're doing. Everything seems to be doing pretty much on schedule like we normally do for the end of February. We did around, in 2009, 66,768 units. In 2010, we did 65,335 units. And now we are at 63. We're just a little bit under last year, 63,525 in sales, but it usually seems to average out as the months go on. I know it's hard to read that. I see a lot of squinters.
That may have nothing to do with the screen.
That's easy to
Yeah,
read.
really?
That's easy to read, John.
Is it? Yeah, it'll get better. I just wanted to mention we video sewer lines on Lancaster Marine, Indian Head, and 30th Street. Is where we're gonna talk a little bit about that on the wastewater side. We're gonna talk about phase 1 sewer plant improvements, and then we'll get into the water end of things. I kind of wanted to pass this along a little bit. This is taken in Wedgwood edition on Marine Lancaster Drive. If you can see, look right here. This is in someone's backyard. That is a manhole. And again, this is an easement. You can see the tree beside it and so forth. And the way I understand it from talking to John Groff, I don't know that, I think easement's different than a right-of-way, and I think we would have to clear that ourselves.
It's no different than a right-of-way. Either one, you have the right to go in to do what you have to do. But if you go in to remove, you usually have to restore. But if it's a tree that's not subject to restoration, then you have to do what you have to do. But you try not to do any more than you have to do.
So I think in some of these locations we might try to approach maybe some of the homeowners to see if there's something we can do about it. But if we foot the bill to have that cleared, does that come back on us or both, or homeowner, or?
What are you talking about? Our
Well,
bill, we pay the freight.
Yeah, but if we cut those trees down, do we pay it? Was it our?
Well, if we have to do it, we have to do it. I mean, but yeah, we have to pay it. Because that tree was probably there when we took the easement. It wasn't put in after we took it. Now, if they put the obstruction in after you acquire the easement or right away, that's different.
Mhm.
But if it was there and you knew it, and you gotta get through it to work on your manhole or your pipe or whatever's in there, then it's your responsibility.
Well, wouldn't everybody kinda know in their, deed or whatever that there's an easement in there? Cause this is a good example of
That
an
has nothing to do with the tree though, John, that's the point.
Okay.
I mean, if that tree was there when we took the easement, we knew the tree was there when we took the easement.
I would say that that tree was put in after that.
I would think so too, it's an evergreen.
Yeah. That's my opinion. I mean, I think that tree was
You
planted.
may have something there.
Now, this is the
If you can
same,
prove it.
this is the same
Right.
easement, but see how the people put fence on each side, and that's the same easement, only the part back here you're seeing is a little bit further down the road. Okay, but they did it properly here, where there's nothing growing in there, nothing's affecting our sewer lines. So what we did was, we were having some trouble on Lancaster, in the Wedgewood area. We had a couple plugs in there, so we decided to camera that. So we had a company come in and we cameraed the sewer to see what kind of condition it was in. This is their vac truck, that we clean the sewer real good so we can get good pictures of everything. And the company that we used was named Corp in this instance. We put the sewer camera down inside the manhole. We record the pictures and everything on a video, and that's in that white truck right here is where that takes place on the right hand side here. I think, is that you, Nick, or is that, I don't know if that's Nick or not, but anyway.
Yeah, it's not me.
It's not you?
I look better than
You
that.
look
You're
better.
much thinner.
So we're going down the manhole, we come to what we call a root ball, and root balls form because of trees in easement areas. This was caused by some kind of a root as we were going down through.
So
now
that
you know-
lighter shaped part, where the roots?
These are the roots. Here's the pipe.
Uh-huh.
Okay, here's the roots coming through that section right there.
Okay.
That's kind of oblong, it really doesn't look that way, but that's a water level. You can check to see if you have bellies in your sewer, you know, where water stays stagnant and so forth. They measure that and make sure that is a tap, a factory tap. What we do is we go up the sewer, we look into the lateral, someone's lateral, and you can see that that's pretty clean. So this person here isn't having too much trouble.
Kinda looks like a colonoscopy.
It's basically the same thing.
No, it's not.
The night before was the same day.
This is another lateral tap that we took pictures of, and everything looks pretty clear there. And that was a factory tap. Now, what I mean by a factory tap is when they lay the pipe in, it's already arranged so that there's a tap there. It's welded right into the pipe. Some of them you have to cut in and so forth, but this, they call it, almost all these along here are factory taps. There's a little bit of roots here you can see, and then you can see a water level in there. If you have too much water level, then that means, like I said earlier, you'd have a little belly in the pipe, or it's not draining real well. That's sometimes you'll get some sewer odors or something like that. There's a tap with roots, and you're looking up into the lateral, and you can see the root. Now, this wouldn't be our responsibility. This is their lateral. Okay, so there's some root problems there. So a lot of people don't think, you know, the pipe tries to stay, we try to keep everything tight and everything, but still, roots have a tendency to get through those sort of things. I don't know, how old's your house, Dick?
I think it was built about 69.
Okay, so that's giving you an example about how old the sewer line is. And I would say a lot of the houses in Heath were built in the 60s. So that's another root ball looking up in someone's lateral. It's got roots here and probably a collection of Lord knows what there. But now what'll happen is that person will start getting a backup, okay, and then he'll call us, we'll come out, we'll check our sewer line, and it'll be clear, and then he'll have to have someone like Roto-Rooter or someone come in and clean his lateral out.
Yes, I did.
Did you? How many trees you got in there? 2. Okay. There's another root ball there. But I just wanted to show you guys how roots.
So these, okay, so these factory
Mhm,
taps,
mhm.
the pipe is, our pipe is one piece. It has the part coming out toward the tap, and then they connect in, and where they connect in, that's where the roots are, which is why it's their responsibility,
Or
not
they
us.
may be able to shoot up, it may be a few rungs up from the, right where they tap in, it could be, because what they do is they'll run a camera right along here, this is our main, and then it's got a head on the camera, and they'll turn it like that,
Oh, okay.
and shoot it up their lateral to see what's in there.
Okay.
They'll zoom in.
Uh-huh.
Not shoot it up, we won't go anywhere, but we'll zoom it up there. So this may be close, it may be 10 feet away,
see.
it could be 15 feet away.
Okay.
So, as we go on, you can see why we get these phone calls periodically with people having backups and so forth in their sewers. I think that's about the same picture. That's another tap with, looks like some roots and stuff that we took a picture of. That is a main joint. That's in our line there. Now what we do is we'd go back through there and we would clean that, and we have a head on there that with water pressure that cuts those roots. What the bad part about that is the roots will always come back, sometimes even stronger, even after we cut them.
Well, and you're gonna have too, at 40 years, you're gonna have, in my situation, I had the sewer line from the house going out to where it hooked up. I had to replace all of that because it fell apart.
Did it really?
Because the
Unfortunately,
roots
it was
busted up the line?
They do.
No, it was
Yeah,
actually, it was
sometimes.
away from where the roots were. It was back toward the house more. But, I mean, you're looking 40 years, and all of a sudden the thing falls apart.
Same way here, that's another
I know that feeling.
another root. That's a factory tap. And that's just a closer picture of probably the roots that they took. I guess, the main point that I'm trying to drive home here a little bit is that, in the future with roots and so forth, eventually this is going to get to the point where some of these sewers that we have are going to have to be lined. And there's expense involved in lining sewers. This is a crack that showed up as they were running it in the clay pipe in the sewer. Same way here. That'll eventually, over a period of time, it'll gap more, and it'll get a little bit worse.
You had to line everything in Forest Hills, didn't you? Those were all falling apart.
Yep.
Those are all lined.
And, we periodically take pictures of these things, to see how things are going. But, and like I said, the main thing that I wanted to comment on was, we have a lot of sewer lines that were put in the 60s that we're gonna have to be paying some attention to in the future here. There's other methods that we can control the roots with foam. We can introduce a chemical in there. The chemical goes in, kills the roots, and it keeps it from coming back. They're guaranteeing, if I give it 2 treatments, which are pretty reasonable, for up to 5 years, is how long it'll last. But then it'll eventually come back again. And depending on the structure of your pipe and condition and stuff that it's in, you may reach a point where you have to do some lining and so forth.
Johnny, were you talking about those trees in that easement because of the intrusion of the roots, or just because it was prohibiting you from getting to the manhole?
Both.
That's 2 different issues.
It's both. It's one, it's hard for us to get to a manhole when we have to do work like this, or we have to, and 2, we have a root problem, so.
If you have a root problem, that's different, because there it's actually affecting the operation of the line. So if you want to kill the root, that's probably gonna have an impact on the tree, but there's no responsibility for us. The easement's there, we have a right to keep that sewer line clear for the public good. Now, if you're going in to clear it out for access to and from the manhole, again, it falls back, sometimes it's factually driven. Was the tree there when you got the easement or not? And I don't know the answer to that, and frankly, you don't either. So you still have a right to go in and get to the manhole, but what you wanna do is take out no more than you have to. If you can take out some branches, you take out the branches, you don't take out the whole tree. In other words, you use some good judgment as to what you do to clear the easement.
Okay. Okey-doke. Okay, does anyone have any questions on the sewer picture here? Okay, we'll go ahead and touch on the next Phase 1 wastewater improvements that we're doing. I just wanted to mention that, and again, this is small text, but when I transfer it over, it just try to keep everything, but just kind of let you know that everything's moving along real smooth. The electricians and the screen building pulled in permanent power, lights and switches installed, gas detectors and panels installed for data cabinet, and let's see, valve operation 60 to 75% wiring completed. Kelpar has a screen building unit, heaters on site, HVAC units on the slab, gas line installed to the slab, fiberglass duct received. Our instrument SCADA system people, SCI, gas alarm panels, WAS rotometers, and explosion-proof lights were delivered. And what's going to happen next week is most of that stuff has been completed. The stuff that we're going to talk about, some other stuff, the lighting has been completed too. On the booster pump panels installed, pulled fiber optic cable in, installed louvers, ductwork, gas to HVAC unit, oil equipment to ship next month. Start on panels. See, on the SCADA system, instruments delivered, startup gas detectors and radar level detectors. Coordinate with Turblex and continue programming, what CSI is doing on that right now. Problem areas, the booster pump disconnects are too close to the pump piping to meet electrical codes, clearance requirements. Booster pump motors not explosion proof, new motors to ship 210, so they should have already been there. Quality standards testing, see, I think everything looks pretty good there. Site management issues, there was some ice around the building, which I think there's been ice everywhere. So they put some salt down and gravel and so forth. But everything's been going pretty smooth. I look for as soon as the weather to break that we'll even get some of the air piping for the aeration tanks was delivered today. So that'll be a big improvement. And then the Turblex blower will be installed.
John, who provides this information to you, or did you compile it yourself?
We have a meeting every month,
Okay.
and this is the minutes from the meeting, and I
Okay.
just throw this into my presentation, so
Okay.
it just kind of overall,
Okay.
and it makes it easier. I can just talk through some of the stuff with you guys. So. Okay, do we have any questions on wastewater?
Anybody?
Okay, we'll move on to the water. We'll talk about sales a little bit here, and actually we're ahead here, 62,245 units sold. If you take that times 750 gallons, that'll tell you how much water we've sold. Same way here. That in 2010, I think that's
Go up.
yeah.
Go up one.
Oh, one
to
more.
February.
There we go. We're at
There you go.
62,486. In 2009, we were 65,350 at the end of February. So we're ahead of last year on total sales for water sales. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about fluoride levels in the city of Heath, decreasing them from 1 milligram per liter to 0.8 milligrams per liter. And the reason for this is the EPA has decided to come out with some new guidelines after all these years on fluoride. We always used to keep fluoride levels at 1 milligram per liter. Now they're rethinking the issue, and they're wanting to hold it probably around 0.7. But that nobody's came up with any exact or made any exact decisions yet. I look for something to come up with that. But I'm going to read this to you. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, today are announcing the important steps to ensure the standards and guidelines on fluoride in drinking water continue to protect the American people while promoting good dental health, especially in children. HHS is proposing that the recommended levels of fluoride in drinking water can be set at the lowest end of the current optimal range, which is what we're doing right now, until they decide where these ranges are going to be, for sure. Current optimal range is to prevent tooth decay. The EPA is initiating review of the maximum amount of fluoride allowed in the drinking water. So they're reviewing how much we're supposed to be adding. Life resulting in improved oral health, one of water fluoridation's biggest advantages is that it is beneficial to all residents of a community, at home, work, school, or play, said HHS Assistant Secretary for Health Howard K. Coe, MD, MPH, and fluoridation effectiveness in preventing tooth decay is not limited to children, but extends throughout. There are several reasons for the changes seen over time, including the Americans have access to more sources of fluoride than they did when water fluoridation was first introduced in the United States in the 1940s. Water is now one of several sources of fluoride. Other common source includes dental products such as toothpaste, mouthwashes, prescriptions, fluoride supplements, and fluoride applied by dental professionals. Water fluoridation and fluoride toothpaste are largely responsible for significant decline in tooth decay in the U.S. over the past several decades. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention named the fluoridation of drinking water one of the 10 great public health achievements of the 20th century. Now, I know we have some people in this room that don't agree with that. But then I also have to remind you too, chlorine isn't the best thing for you either.
Right.
But you gotta look at the overall picture
Those bacteria.
when you look at, botulism, cholera, E. coli, dysentery, Legionella, all these things.
Those sound fun.
Chlorine has helped prevent those types of outbreaks and bacteria and so forth. So fluoride's kind of on the same threshold right now. There's people saying it's good for you. There's people saying that it's not good for you. I know it's been talked about, and Becky gave me some information on hypothyroidism. They're thinking that fluoride can cause problems with that, and then they're also rolling that into possibly fibromyalgia, I guess if I pronounced that right. That's another big cause of fluoride that they're looking at too. So
Fluoride is causing fibromyalgia.
well, that's some of the studies are saying that. Of course, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not an expert on this, but all I can do is go by. But I guess the bottom line is on this thing is we are going to keep our fluoride levels at the lowest possible limits and still be allowed by the EPA. If I go below those limits, I will be out of compliance and we can get in trouble. So I can't make any changes until the EPA decides where we're gonna settle in on this.
0.7 is the bottom line.
0.7 is what they are kind of